Mercedes-AMG Interview Lounge.
We always love it when Matthew Hussey comes to see us. I consider your visits here just you're coming home to do laundry for the weekend.
That is how I feel. Is every time I come here, it genuinely. I said yesterday on my Instagram, this is my New York family. It really is.
Aw, that's nice.
No, I feel that way. I just feel so welcomed by you guys. I literally said tonight, I'm coming into New York. Tell me if there's you want me to come in or whatever. He's like, dude, what are you talking about? Just come in.
A lot of people don't know, but Matthew Hussey and Straight Nate, they're like bros.
Oh, like besties, the two of you.
Friends. No, we became friends.
You can speak into a microphone. It's okay.
How about this one?
Yeah,
there we go, Scary.
There.
No, I mean, it's hard to make friends when you get older, and we just kind of clicked, and, kind of in the same.
I saw them at your wedding. They were very bro-ish at your wedding.
Yeah, you guys were doing the bro dances.
Wait, define bro-ish.
Well, you do that thing where you jump and you chest bump in the middle of the dance.
We did not do that.
He would kill me if he did that.
Yeah.
I think we're about the least bro-ish bros in the world.
No, you guys were bro-ish.
Listen to my accent. How can I be bro-ish?
Yeah.
You got one guy named Straight Nate. You have a poofster from Great Britain over here. Hey, all right, let's talk. We've got lots to cover here with Matthew. I don't know where to start. Let's start with your near-death experience on an airplane. Now, I do believe this was an Insta story that you posted at the airport.
Well, actually, that was a couple of days later. I wasn't in the right mindset to post a story when I got off that plane.
Okay, what happened?
This, by the way, the context for this is I was desperate to get home to LA. I'd been away for a month and a half. I was in London for Christmas. I then went to Poland on this crazy ice retreat. And then I'm finally I just want to get home. And I'm at the airport. You know when it feels like everything is stopping you from getting back?
The universe doesn't want it to happen.
Exactly. And I'm at the airport and I'm actually in New York because I thought I was going to go back to LA, and then I got asked to come and do a TV show here. So I came via New York. Now I'm finally going home, and the plane's delayed by 2 hours. Then when I get on the plane, I sit down, and the pilot says over the radio, he says, sorry about the delay. We've actually had some problems with this plane, but we've fixed it, and we're going to take off soon. Which immediately no one wants to hear we have problems with this plane.
Right.
Another plane. And that's why we put you on this plane.
Right.
But not this plane.
It's not good when the pilot does it. They do the walk around where they actually walk around and inspect the aircraft.
I haven't seen that.
No, they do that typically. No, they do that, and it's good. But every once in a while, they'll find a screw underneath.
Oh, God.
They're like, where did this come from? Oh, well, let's take off. Well, this is what Matthew reported on his whatever this was.
And the pilot got on the intercom and said, the engine has malfunctioned. And we're going to have to get to the ground immediately. And we're flying at a really low altitude. I mean, low enough that I can literally I could tell the difference between the types of car below us. We're not close to Newark. We're 10 minutes from Newark Airport, where we took off from, where we're trying to get back to. I literally thought I was going to die. I really thought that I don't know what's going to happen here.
It is frightening. And while it's happening, no one says a word. It's total silence on the airplane because this has happened to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Danielle and I were flying to Fort Lauderdale, and all of a sudden we just took off from Newark Airport, Matthew, and we heard this. What was that? Geese had flown into the engines.
It was like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, it smelled like roasted chicken.
No.
I kid you not. It smelled
my God.
It smelled like chicken. And so the pilot says, "Oh, you know how pilots talk. We've a problem. We've a few geese have flown into the engines. So we're going to go ahead and swing back around to Newark Airport. We're cleared for to take off. We're cleared to land." I'm like, what the is he saying? I don't know. So the plane goes low, just like you experienced, and he slowly turns the aircraft around toward Newark. And I look at Danielle and went, "I love you." And Danielle says, "I love you too."
Yeah, because you have this image of people being hysterical or something, but no, you're right.
It's quiet.
It's a weird. No one knows what to do
because you're about to die.
But
guy,
even when they say they fixed the problem, like you're like, but I don't want to stay on this plane that the problem was on. I want to get off this one and go on another one.
Yeah, it smelled like Grandma's roasted chicken.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so
but you know that any other context is delightful.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about life-shifting events.
Yeah.
This is one of them. And I hope you hold on to that feeling that you had, as frightening as it was. What in your brain and what in your heart were you feeling when you thought, well, I could actually perish, I could die today?
I mean, I wish I could say I felt braver. I did not feel brave. I really felt like just terrified. And I also, it was mixed in with a fair amount of I was kind of mad. I thought
mad?
Not like really, like this is the way it's going to happen. Like there was this Christopher Hitchens, a guy who passed, who I very much admired. He had a terminal illness where he said, knowing you're going to die is worse than being told the party's over. He said, it's more like someone comes to tap you on the shoulder and tell you, no, the party's still going on. It's still going to keep going. You just have to leave.
Oh, God.
That's fine.
That's terrible.
But, you know, that produces a different emotion than the party's over, because you're like, wait, no, I don't want to, this is all going to go on without me. I want to see that thing, do that thing. So,
yeah, no, life is great. And these are the days.
It's wonderful.
And you don't want to leave.
No, and I will always remember I remember you telling me that years ago, and it always stuck with me when you said, I was complaining about something, and you looked at me and you said, Matthew, remember, these are the days where you'll be saying those were the days.
It's true.
I've never forgotten that.
But you know what? I reached a point in my life, and I'm look, we're going to, by the way, this conversation will be more positive and we'll glow a little brighter in a few moments. It is a positive thing, but some people don't understand this concept. I have reached a point in my life where I know that I am not in control of everything. This is when I get on an airplane and I know, oh, this could be the one. Okay, let go. Just let go. What are you going to do? It's out of my control. Why am I going to worry about things that I cannot control? And therefore, you free yourself up to enjoy the moments or the years you have left. Now, you went on this retreat, this ice retreat.
Yeah.
Exactly what was it? Because I followed you, and it was fascinating. You and our friend Mike Posner and other stinky boys went traipsing around Poland, right? We didn't talk about
Poland.
it.
We were in the mountains in Poland, and we were with a guy called Wim Hof, whose nickname is the Iceman, because he's known for these extraordinary world record-breaking feats in freezing temperatures. From the longest swim under ice in a frozen lake to climbing Everest, not to the top, but he climbed a significant part of Everest, I think, in just his shorts. He ran a half marathon barefoot in the ice. He's is an extraordinary human being in terms of what he has done.
Well, there's got to be more to it than just a guy running around in his underwear in the cold. I mean, he's obviously learning something about life, and he's sharing it with you guys.
That's right. He's developed it into a practice for people where they're now, he recommends ice baths, he recommends daily cold showers, he has these breathing techniques that he swears by, and we went to this retreat to experience a very immersive, very extreme version of this, and day one, we were jumping off of a cliff into icy lake. Day two, we spent, a normal ice bath would be a couple of minutes, maybe. We spent 10 minutes in a ice bath outside in frozen temperatures in the mountains. On the final day, we climbed to the tallest point in the Czech Republic in just our shorts in minus 20.
But why? No, there's got to be...
The why is... there's a physiological why, which is the idea of what he calls like cardiovascular fitness, that you're actually getting stronger and over time teaching your heart to do less work because your body is better at pumping blood around the body and the circulation is better. But there's also obviously a psychological component.
Talk about that. Because I know you hate the cold. I know you love the beach. But beyond the temperature being so low and you being uncomfortable, what in your mind and heart did you learn from doing this?
So one of the most amazing things about it, he went through a tragedy in his life where he realized the only time that he wasn't grieving, the only time he could truly get out of his head was in the ice. That when he stepped into the frozen lake and sat there, His body was going through extreme stress and going into survival mode, but he wasn't thinking about anything else. So it's like a concentrated meditation where we've tried to meditate, many of us, and you know how difficult it is to actually bring your mind back from distracting thoughts. It's extraordinarily difficult. In the ice, it's actually not that difficult.
We have no choice.
It
grabs your attention.
That's right.
So all focus is on how you're feeling right then.
And so much of that feeling, like you just talked about the idea of kind of surrender, right? I get on this plane, surrender. Who knows what could happen? It might be my last flight. Well, there's a certain amount of just surrender to not when you get in the ice and people tiptoe into like cold water, they don't want to feel the cold. They almost are willing it to be warm, but it's not warm. You have to just surrender to the fact that it is freezing, and that's okay. I'm going to learn. It's almost like how the Marines say, like just learning to be miserable. I'm going to learn for the next 10 minutes how to be miserable. And we all spend so much time trying to learn how to be happy. And so much of life is not moments of happiness. Mm-hmm. So much of life is moments of difficulty and suffering and pain and actually learning. I didn't understand this concept. I remember throughout my 20s, I had a certain friend who, when I was really emotional about something or going through something hard, I'd keep telling him about it. And I'd be like, this thing's happening. And I don't know how I'm going to get over this thing, whatever. And he'd be like, dude, I think you just give too much importance to your emotions. You just seem to care more about your own feelings than I do. And I didn't understand at the time what he meant by that. But I look back now and I realize I just didn't really. I thought I did, but I didn't really know how to be miserable.
Okay, well, let's talk about. Well, I work with Dave Brody every day. That's how I experience it. That's my misery. But I mean, here you are in a nice, warm, toasty studio in New York City, being interviewed by arguably the most incredible morning host in the world.
Right.
No, but
I took a freezing cold shower before I got to this warm studio.
So what did you learn while icing yourself in Poland that you are living off of and accelerating yourself with right now?
Well, look, on a fundamental level, it really did shake me up. It taught me what I was capable of. Like the breathing exercises, there's a moment where you breathe out, you exhale, and then hold your breath.
Right.
And we held our breath for 3 minutes. And that is an extraordinary feat for me.
3 minutes?
Yeah,
Gandhi.
3 minutes.
I can't do that.
Ready, go.
Yeah, right. I got 3 seconds.
I would never have believed that was possible, and that's something we did. So there's we all say like, oh, you could do more than you think you can do. But when you have a genuine physical metaphor for that, where you realize I never in a million years thought I'd be able to do that, and I did it, that changes things. And the biggest thing it's done for me is it's shaken me up and made me want to do a lot of new things with my year, because I realized, like, going into this, it terrified me. And it didn't just terrify me because I thought it would be painful. It didn't just terrify me because I thought, oh, what if I hurt myself? It also terrified me because I thought I'm probably not going to be good at this. And, my publisher, Karen Rinaldi, wrote a book called It's Great to Suck at Something, which is the whole premise behind this book is it's really, really, really important to do something that you suck at. And not from the cliche self-development point of view of, because if you keep doing it, you'll get good, you'll get better. That's not the point. The point of this entire book is be okay with sucking at it and do it for pure enjoyment. Do it just because you want to. There's no goal.
Just do it for the sucking.
Yeah.
Mom always said. I want you to hear Matthew in the ice tub with Mike Posner and all these other guys. And there were women there too, right?
There was one woman who was a very famous chef who was there for us that week. Yeah.
Really? And this is them chanting. What is it? A chant? What is
it? It was kind of a chant / meditation to get us through the pain.
What do you say? What words are those?
I don't think there's any words in there.
You can actually see this video. By the way,
that noise you hear is Mike Posner.
Mike Posner, right. By the way, this is Mike on a cracker. I mean, this is him at all times. He's great. See,
I feel like this is the opening of The Little Mermaid.
I feel like it's Frozen 2.
Frozen 2?
Yeah.
Sounds like the Lion sleeps tonight.
Well, okay, look. So this is what you did. You got on a plane, went to Poland, and you immersed in ice for to anyone listening to this conversation right now, me, Gandhi, Danielle, all of us included, and everyone driving to work right now, what did you learn that we should be doing? You said that you're going to, from now on, you learned from a guy on the retreat that once every 8 weeks you're going to spend a weekend doing something you've never done before.
Yes.
Start there.
Well, okay. So firstly, I was made fully aware of doing this, that how often am I actually doing something that genuinely is uncomfortable and scary to me? And the uncomfortable answer for me was not very often at all. And so the biggest thing I've taken away from it is to build my year this year around doing things that are genuinely new and uncomfortable for me and put me in different situations.
Can you share any of it with us?
Yeah. And some of them are small, like for example,
dating a guy.
Well, I'm not, well, listen, I'm going to start somewhere else.
Wow. He's so uncomfortable.
Look, he just did it. He was uncomfortable. Great.
Okay.
So one, I want to go camping. I've always said for years, I want to go and do a camping trip. I never do it, and I don't do it for stupid reasons. I'm like, what do I don't even know what I need to take.
Well, the Four Seasons Hotel is much more comfortable.
Right, it is, but I'm not going to create a new memory there. Like I want to create a new memory doing something I don't normally do, something that's fresh. So that's a small thing, and it's a thing that it's not expensive. It's not going to cost any money. It's just going to a place and doing something different. Jesse Itzler, one of the guys who was on the program with me in Poland, he has this great rule that he calls Kevin's rule, where every 8 weeks, he takes a weekend to do something that he wouldn't normally do with a weekend.
That's incredible. That's a great idea, because we do find ourselves getting into this pattern where we do the same things. It's comfortable. We know how to get there. We don't have to think about it. Don't have to get creative.
Yeah. And
he gets out. He gets out of that circle.
He gets out of it, and I really learned this from him. I mean, this guy, he's a crazy guy. Like, I spoke to him on the phone yesterday. He literally said to me, we're doing this thing at my house this year. With 100 people. It's called Hell on the Hill. We all climb the giant steep hill outside my house 100 times. And there's a band. We're going to have a band and a DJ, and it's going to be fun. But it's a really difficult 4 hours. But lots of amazing people are going. Now, at first glance, I look at that and I'm like, do I climb this hill 100 times? Like, this sounds like but then I go, yeah, but that alone is going to be interesting. I'm going to meet fascinating people. I'm going to be around a different crowd. Like, am I a little nervous because I'm like, I'm just going to this on my own. I'm not going to know anyone. Yeah, that's why I should go. Like, it's a whole new circle of people. And, I felt that same feeling about going to Poland, but now I have this brotherhood of guys that I know as a result of that, which, by the way, is something I realize about people in general, and maybe especially guys, is I don't believe that most of us have that. We don't have that group of people that we're growing with, pushing each other, we can be vulnerable with.
That's a very good point.
And we need it. That's probably one of the most valuable things I got out of it.
As you get older, speaking from that point of view, you find yourself actually shedding yourself of all the people in your circle.
Yes.
And you end up one day waking up realizing, I have one friend. I have one good friend, because I just don't want the drama of all these people in my life. But actually, on the other side, we should have people that we should at least retreat with from time to time. You don't have to hang out with them every week.
You don't. But if you look at what's AA? What's an AA meeting? It's people coming together and having a sense of community and true vulnerability and opening up and talking about things. How many
I need to get to one of those, by the way.
Yes. I think all of the things that you're talking about, we've been talking about in here as well, whether it has to do with your spiritual health or your mental health. When's the last time that you did something for the first time? And we came up with a list, and I think it's really important, and you've talked about studies, Elvis, where doing something new actually keeps your mind fit and healthy and keeps you from sliding down that path of deterioration. So I think it's great on multiple levels for you to do that. So for you, when was the last time that you did something for the first time?
Well, certainly it was Poland.
Okay.
That was, but the reason I believe I was seeking that is because I didn't have a good answer to that question.
Right. I know you do.
And that's embarrassing for me in my position because I'm always telling people to get outside their comfort zones and do new things. You know, I run an entire retreat around the idea of shaking people up and getting people to connect with themselves, with life in a different way. So it's actually, I was embarrassed when I really asked myself that question, like, have I been living what I talk to other people about? Yes, I take risks. Yes, I work really hard and I've done a lot of work to get where I am, but it's really easy for anyone. Like, it doesn't matter what you've accomplished in life. It's so easy to get to a place where you can show other people that, look at how hard I'm working. Look at how much I'm doing. But actually, everything you're doing is still super comfortable.
Really? Would your own retreats be victim to that same philosophy?
Well,
do you feel like when you get together with all these people in this room that pay you a lot of money to listen to you speak and motivate, are you still doing it the same way, the same formula you've been doing it for years?
No, because
yes, you have. You're guilty of it. You're guilty of it. It's the same boring crap every single time.
No, but I will say this. I improve that program every time we do it, but that program is comfortable for me because it's my program. What scared me about the Poland retreat is I'm in someone else's hands. This is someone else's agenda. I'm not the guy telling everyone what exercise we're doing next. It feels great, and it also was terrifying. And it you know, I feel so connected to the people coming to my retreat this year because I realize this is the same exact process they're going through of fear and massive vulnerability coming to my program.
That's it.
Maybe you should add an ice bath to your program.
You really should. An ice bath would be nice.
I mean, I'm doing it daily right now purely because I like that metaphor of doing something today that I don't want to do. And that's going to affect everything else I do that
agree.
day.
I feel that every morning when I come into this radio show.
Stop it.
I cry in the shower. Like, oh, God. All right, we've got to take a break. Matthew Hussey's here. I know we have a lot of people, a lot of listeners gave us questions for you. So let's roll into that. And but let's stay out of our comfort zone. Seriously.
I like it.
Let's make it very uncomfortable for everyone.
Cool.
You're an expert at that.
Thank you. We'll be back after this.